Have you ever wondered if you could be getting more sales from the content that you're already posting? I think the answer is yes, because I've personally helped countless creators make a few small tweaks that turns more of their audience into buyers without posting any more content. So today, I'm going to review two creators' businesses. One that's already making $10 million a year, but could be making a lot more if they made a few small tweaks. And then another creator who I helped more than double their sales by making similar tweaks plus a couple extra. So let's dive into it. The first one we're going to look at is Myron Golden. If we go to Myron's YouTube channel, we'll see a little bit of, he's posting quite a bit of content. He hasn't posted a little bit for the past month, but he's posting several videos, putting out a lot of content, okay? Now, the main place he sends people is the Make More Offers challenge. So he runs a 5-day challenge that people pay either $97 or $297 to come to. And then at the end of that challenge, they have the opportunity to, buy more services, buy more products. So the first thing he does here is he sends people to this page. Now, this is called an opt-in page because you opt in for the first step, right? You put your name and email. Says the next challenge starts soon. The first thing is I see a lot of creators having those opt-in pages where they ask for name and email, which is fine, but only if you're actually going to use the name and email. What you don't want is to have that unnecessary friction, right? None of us want to give our email, right? We're always nervous. We're just going to get bombarded with emails. They're going to sell our email. So we try to avoid giving our email. So there's friction there. You might as well just get more people to this page and not ask for the email if you're not going to use it. In Myron's case, I think he probably is. I want to look at the copy here first. Don't make the one mistake that will keep your business from growing. It's decent, right? Because it drives some curiosity. If you're a business owner, which you probably are watching this video, you're like, okay, well, what's the one mistake? There's a little bit of ambiguity in this. There's also not a ton of proof on this page. That's one thing. Anytime you make a big claim, you got to immediately just back it up with some proof, which it doesn't really do here. So to discover how you can increase your business revenue by over 1,280% in just 4 moves. I love the specificity there, 1,280%. Again, it needs some social proof or some sort of credibility to back it up. But that specificity of 1,280%, he's not saying 1,000%. That sounds very generic. It sounds like you just made that up. But 1,280%, it kind of sounds like, oh, you did the math, you did the research, and that's the average, right? And then just 4 moves. So like, okay, well, what are the 4 moves? So all in all, this page is decent, but I would definitely add some social proof on this page. So once you submit your name and email, it takes you to this page. So the headline here is you're about to discover the solution to the single biggest mistake that failing businesses make. Very congruent with the previous page, which is good. So we're not going to go over copy a ton on this page because basically the big things are you speaking to your audience's desires? Are you speaking to their pain points? And are you offering your solution as the bridge to get there, right? So his audience wants to make more money, right? So that's the desired outcome. Their pain point is they're not making, the money that they want to be able to make. And the bridge is the Make More Offers challenge. This 5-day challenge is positioning as the path to get there. What I want to show you on this page is how we've redesigned it to make it convert better. Because I think this will start opening up your mind when you see your website, when you see your sales funnel to improve it. So when we look at this, I want you to ask yourself the question, where do your eyes go when you land on this? It's probably like to the video, maybe to the headline, and then this button. But it's kind of all scattered around. And really good design pulls your eyes in almost in like a sequential path, right? So when we redesign this, we put the headline up at the top. We use this gold color, right, to kind of highlight the discover the solution. And you can see how it kind of just funnels your eyes eventually down to the CTA, right? You see the headline, you see the video, you see the CTA, and it just looks a lot cleaner. It doesn't look so cluttered like this page does. Another thing that you could also test is changing out the video player. So we've tested Vidalytics recently, tested against Vimeo, tested against Wistia, tested against YouTube, just embedding YouTube video, and it literally works so well. So Vidalytics is something I would test on your funnel to see if it increases conversions. That's something I would test here. The next thing is making it really easy for your audience to take the next step you want them to take. Okay, so when I land here, he does a decent job of this, but if you look at this on mobile, he doesn't, right? So when you land here, there's no button, right? You have to scroll down to see the button. You want the button to be above the fold. The fold is this little line right here, comes from the newspaper days where what you could see before you unfolded the newspaper was above the fold, right? So if you were advertising in those days, you wanted your ad to be above the fold. So somebody could just look at the front page and not have to turn it, right, and see the ad. So what we did here is we try to move that up. And if this was on mobile, I would move this button above this right below the video so they don't have to scroll at all to see it. Okay, so that's another thing, is make it easier for your audience to buy things. So right here, he makes this big claim, but then when you scroll down, there's no social proof, right? Until you get all the way down here, and then there's one review, and it doesn't even like really look like social proof. I don't immediately see it and just believe what he's saying. So what we did is we added a section underneath what industry leaders are saying, right? We added these people that his audience has probably heard of, these big names. So we can immediately grab their attention and show them what we're saying has validity to it. And then we go into some of the best copy on the page. We brought it up on how this takes them from where they are to where they want to be. So we moved that up. His was just kind of confusing, just honestly random kind of throw up of words that is important, but not important in the structure that it was at. And I think the point here is just your copy should really be a logical train of thought. So really, you just want to make it easy for your audience to understand exactly what it is and how it helps them, right? So here, there's just, when I skim over this, I don't know what's going on, right? There's like, talks about these different offers. It's confusing to me visually, right? Whereas if I scroll here, I can see and start to understand outcome I'm going to achieve, right? Had clients thanking you in tears for making the offer and giving them a chance to buy it from you. If you're somebody who's in his audience, you're going to want the transformation he's talking about. Another thing we did is just add to Myron's credibility by using better images. I love this. If you go on Myron's page, these images are I mean, just one, like structurally, this is all a mess, but they just look really, really bad, right? They don't look great. He's in a suit, but they don't look great, right? This is way better, right? And then once again, we add social proof once again. The whole kind of structure of this page is one, just making it more digestible. When somebody lands and they're scrolling, they can easily just look and say, okay, it's a 5-day commitment. This is the outcome. Here's who the class is for, right? One thing you can also do, I didn't do this on all of these, but you can see, rather than just putting somebody's name, you can add the kind of the headline of the testimonial. So right here might be the 4-month millionaire, right? Right here might be $500,000 in just 12 days. That's not a real testimonial, but I just made that up as an example there. And then we go into a little bit of just adding in some of his credibility. Again, we're making all these big claims. We've got to back it up, right? So he's sharing stages with these big people. He's been on the Inc. 5000, best-selling author, right? Highlighting who this person is. And then once again, more social proof, right? A little bit more about what you're going to learn in the challenge and then a breakdown of the offer. This is something that when you land here, this is the section about what the offer is. There's no images of it. It's not really clear. He says like day one offer signs. When you land here, you immediately see this image above of just showcasing it on these different screens, right? It looks pretty cool. Then you see him actually teaching in this challenge, which looks a lot more appealing. I want to watch that. I don't want to watch this, right? I don't want to watch this. I want to watch this. This is a lot better. And this is the real thing, right? He's just using these old images for no reason. And then we're breaking down what's on what day, right? Which is the same information. It's just presented better. Then a little bit of scarcity, right? You want to use scarcity to get people to convert. And then we're showing the two prices. And I want you to see this because one of the big things, if you're a creator trying to make more money from your audience, is increasing average order value. If you want to double your revenue, one of the easiest ways to do that is to get more money per person, right? So when we look at his, right, you get down to the part where it goes over the price. Watch this. If I'm right here, especially on mobile, you see, okay, general admission, VIP experience. You have no idea, besides the time being a little bit different, you have no idea what the difference is. You have to scroll down and find it. So what we did is we add them side by side and we make this box bigger, right? We're showing that this is more value. We're adding all these extra bullets. Everything just looks bigger and better on that VIP experience. There's 10 other things I would do to increase AOV on this funnel, but that's just one example, right? Just highlighting those better options. Now, once again, more testimonials, leaving no question unanswered in the FAQ, and then closing it out with a CTA. So this is Myron's funnel. Again, there's a lot of other things I would change, but the main thing is make it easier for your prospect to buy, right? Make it easier to find things. That's making your buttons bigger, removing your opt-in pages, not asking for email, right? If you don't actually use that, adding in social proof to get them to believe it, making sure the copy speaks to the desires and the pain points of your market while positioning your product as the bridge to go from their painful situation to the desired outcome. And lastly, increasing your average order value by positioning your higher ticket offer as the more valuable one. Now, the second creator I want to review is one that we actually helped. And just to give you some numbers behind it, when he came to us, he was converting 4.5% of his visitors, right? So it's the traffic that came from his content to his website into sales, right? So if you got 100 people to his website, 4.5% would become sales. After 30 days of us rebuilding and optimizing his sales funnel, which is just a fancy word for how people purchase from you, we got it to 8.8. Right? So basically doubled. Shortly after that, we also were able to increase the average order value from around $180 to around $250, $260. I think it's $265 now. Right. So we were able to really improve both of those metrics, which more than doubled his business. He ended up eventually going on Joe Rogan's podcast. You can imagine, right? He already flew it to us and he already went on the podcast. He already spent 3 hours recording with a double in conversion rate. And I think it was like a 25% increase in average order value, something like that. He made a lot more money from that same trip. And that's the beauty of optimizing these things. So, well, what are the things we did? So this is his website right here, Shot IQ. The main thing we did was make the bridge part of the copy, the sales copy, the wording on the page extremely clear. Okay. In his market, the big problem people suffer from is target panic. The problem is people throw this out. So if you're an archer, you hear it, but not every archer knows what it is, right? And a lot of people think, oh, that's not the problem I have because they've heard it described and it doesn't sound like them. But the reality is pretty much every archer struggles with it. It's just to what extent. So we had to drive that point home, right? Which is why we asked this question. Why have world champion archers and professional hunters from your favorite TV show paid Joel Turner for archery coaching? It's simple. Every human is born with a condition that keeps them from being accurate, especially in high-stress events. And it explains more about that and talks about target panic, right? And it says the solution to overcome this is controlled process shooting, which is his program. And we show these testimonials from Joe Rogan and these different people. And we're talking about how he's a former SWAT sniper. He's trained 8,000 people, throughout all of his courses and as a law enforcement instructor. His son's a world champion from this, right? So same exact thing. We're just highlighting the bridge, telling his story to show that transformation, and then just social proof, social proof, social proof. The other thing we did that was super helpful that I want to highlight really quick, one of the big AOV boosts and also conversion rate boosts, is we tested $200, which was the old price point, against $247. $247 is like a 24% or 23% improvement in AOV. It not only got just as many sales and made more money, but it actually got more sales. For whatever reason, this price converted better. So sometimes raising your price obviously makes you more money per sale, but also gets you more sales. So that was just an ultimate hack. There was a lot of other things we did that also squeezed out more AOV, which I think is like an extra 10% of his revenue now that I can go over potentially in another video. But those are just a few things that were super, super impactful. So test these things on your website, on your sales funnel. Try to improve your conversion, improve your copy, drive more AOV. If you enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this one as well. So I'll see you there.